to Real Cast Fishing. Your host, Glenn, with the CJ Island Fishing Field Team. Get a little music going. All right, well, I got a little late start. I had some honeydews that I had to knock out real quick. We're getting a freezer to replace the old freezer, and went ahead and put some insulation in there so that in the garage, so that things will stay a little bit cooler, hopefully this summer. It's just this garage door kit that you can put on there, and well, it seems to work. So I'm pretty happy with it. It looks really good. So, but hey, let's talk fishing. But before I go there, I need to have a little light beer here. Yeah, it's definitely hot out there. Anyhow, this round, what I got for you, we're talking fishing ramblings on the Real Cast Fishing Podcast, and yours truly is just going to recap the last couple of weeks here and maybe some upcoming things to look forward to. Before we go there, let's go ahead and say howdy. Let's see. I think there's a way that I can say, well, there's got to be a way to say something. Top chat, live chat, all are visible, blah, blah. I can't tell. Anyways, if you have any chat stuff to add in there, go ahead and throw it in there, and I will hopefully be able to answer the question. It should show up in the little pop-up screen. Okay, so realcastfishing.net. This round we're talking Lower Illinois River. I'm doing some fly fishing there. The kayak fishing, specifically some trolling that I did. And then some quick tie, fly tie videos that I've been posting here recently. So let's start out with the Lower Illinois River. So for those here in the North Texas area, Dallas, Fort Worth, there are some opportunities for trout fishing that are outside of the normal trout stocking season here in Texas, which runs from March to, from November to March, February, March, more likely. Let's see. First closest is the Blue River, about an hour and a half, under 2 hours to get there from the Metroplex. And that one is a seasonal trout fishery. And so it runs from November to March. But that said, there are two within a day trip distance from the North Texas area where you can run up to Oklahoma. It's a year-round trout fishery. You've got Lower Illinois River, which is near Gore, Oklahoma. And then you've got Lower Mountain Fork, excuse me, Lower Mountain Fork, which is part of Beaver Bend State Park. I've been to both of them, but most recently Lower Illinois River. And I kind of tend toward the Lower Illinois River because it just seems a little bit more easier to catch fish. On top of that, you got the opportunity for some striped bass. And there were some striped bass caught this past weekend that we went. But unfortunately, yours truly didn't catch any, as well as in our party. But that said, what worked for us, we initially started out with some Clouser minnows. Then I switched over to a Bennett's Lunch, some different kind of streamer flies that I'd picked up down south over there in Green, New Braunfels area. And the trout were not, or correction, the striped bass were not cooperating. But quick switch, excuse me, quick switch to the trout that were there. And I went ahead and set up a tandem rig. Why a tandem rig? Because in my past videos, every single time in the past, it seems like I use a tandem rig, some kind of streamer, be it an olive near deer or a woolly bugger or a mop fly, followed by some kind of, be it a nymph or a power worm, in this case when we're using power worms, as well as a San Juan worm. And so while I was out there, went ahead and set up a tandem rig, went with a squirmy San Juan worm, which is made out of this little squishy, whooshy, tentacle-like thing, and tied that on there and had some really good success catching some of those trout at the Lower Illinois. You did have to kind of work the seams where the faster and slower water were coming together, as well as further down, excuse me, downriver where the rocks were while we were fishing. Another individual was fishing the seams as well, on tending to one side of the river. And then later on, I saw several people hooking up more mid-river And so the trout were there, and I suspect that, well, they're still there. Additionally, you don't need to bring full wading gear. It's that time of year where you can go out and do some wet wading. So bring your wading boots and make sure you have some cleats on them, and have at it. Go and put on some shorts and go in the river and wade it. Just be careful where you step, as the water does flow at some places fairly strong. But Lower Illinois, I had some really good opportunity there. Almost limited out. I caught and released several. Was trying to get something bigger. Did lose a bigger one, but overall, yeah, that was a pretty good trip. And then from there, switched over to some kayak fishing, specifically kayak fishing, but the trolling type, where you just throw a slab and jig rig and you see if you can get something to strike. Well, I went out this past weekend and guess what? Excuse me. Guess what? All the parks were closed, according to the park attendant. I did hear from some other folks that 5 of the parks and boat ramps have opened over here at Lavon. So, hey, it's a good time to go back out there this weekend, maybe. Anyhow, went out there to Collin Park Marina. It's a private marina, so you had to pay to get in. But I was able to go and put in there and spend a good 5 hours of kayak trolling, and it was brutal. Didn't get anything, but I finally I did get one as I was trying to move from one spot or another. I sped up in kayak in the paddling, and boom, I got a white bass, which was just big enough. It was a keeper that I was able to go ahead and try out that new Dexter Basic Fillet fishing knife. It's like $15, but it's really sharp, and it made short order of that thing. And I was able to try out some new recipe with it. So little appetizer. It was only one fish. So that said, previous to that, I did do some kayak jug lining, put out the jug lines, set jug lines, and although the lake is up, you can get your shad at the boat ramps, throw the cast net out there, and boom, you should have enough to do a round of jug lining and get you some catfish and, well, maybe have a fish fry. So that is what was happening there. And then switching over to some other things, hit some ponds and whatnot, did some fly fishing, tried some different lures and whatnot, and fishing flies. Bluegill are still out and about in different places. Put on your polarized glasses, look for them, and see if you can do some sight casting toward them, maybe adjust the fishing flies to maybe if they're tending on top versus below. But anyhow, that is kind of the things that I've been doing out and about. I have been posting some other videos specifically on, well, dad jokes, because you got to have a joke. You got to keep your sense of humor. But on top of that, I've been putting these quick tie, fly tie videos, as well as some little snippets of some fishing related things. I think, let's see, the most recently, I think I posted the Clouser Minnow fly tie. I'm going to put that San Juan Squirmy Wormy quick tie fly tie as well. And then did touch base on a couple of past live streams, the Amazon live streams where I convert them over into YouTube and rebroadcast them. We're talking the nail knot tying tool, tandem rig fishing flies, as well as the whip finish tying tool or whip finish tool. Those were pretty good. And then let me look at my notes here. Where are my notes? There they are. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the quick tie videos, been getting some good movement there with some of the folks that are checking it out. But that said, I think the next one I'm going to be doing, let's see, I'll rebroadcast that quick tie, fly tie, San Juan worm. And then I'll probably prep for a slab and jig rig live demo. What that is where I'll show you where I take a slab and how I set up that rig, because over the years I've noticed that as I'm fishing a slab and jig rig, bouncing bottom, or I end up hooking on to something in the lake. I would try pulling or undoing it, and it'd break off and I'd lose my whole rig. Instead, what I do now is I take a 30-pound main line, and then I tie a blood knot to it and put the slab rig as the trailing trailing lure, and then I'll do some sabiki style jigs, crappie jigs, or some of these fly ties that I do on a 12-pound or 15-pound test, so that if I do hook onto something, I can pull pretty hard, and I know that it'll break off only at that one point. And when I do that sabiki rig, you can retie those quickly so that you're back in business very quickly. So stay tuned for that one. I'll do one on Amazon, and then I'll rebroadcast it again for the YouTube folks. Let's see. Other things. Hey, maybe some of y'all have any questions. I'm open to it. Let's see. I'll go into the live chat section. Nothing. Let's go to top chat. Nothing. All right. Okay. Well, let's see. I don't see any. Nope. Okay. All right. Anyhow, so just to recap again, kayak fishing. It's in full swing this time of year. Just you got to find a place that's open. In this case, because our lakes are pretty high, a lot of the parks are closed. But over here at Lavon, did hear that there's at least 5 locations that are back open again. So maybe this weekend go out there and give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Definitely interested how the bite's going on. Initially heard from folks that they made it up to Texoma, Lake Texoma, fishing the main lake proper instead of the tail race, and did some good things with some striped bass over there. So hey, keep that in your back pocket if you are in the mood. Just remember, you go to Lake Texoma, you have to have a Lake Texoma license. If you fish the tail race and you stay on land on the Texas side from the dam itself to Shawnee Creek, you can fish on the land proper with a Texas fishing license. As soon as you go into the water, as well as go past Shawnee Creek, or if you go to the Oklahoma side, you're going to have an Oklahoma fishing license. Which does bring me, I might as well get an Oklahoma fishing license, because you have that chance over there at some striped bass at Denison Dam, that tail race over there that makes the border Red River or the Red River border for Oklahoma and Texas. And on top, that opens you up to fishing the lower Illinois River, as well as the lower Mountain Fork. From a lower Illinois River, I've had some questions come up about where we fished. Typically, what we'll do is we'll start at the generation plant where you park up there, and you go from there and start working that area, and then you go further south to the first fishing area. Donald Hong, hi. Hi, Donald. Do you have any questions? Maybe some fishing comments, maybe some suggestions as to maybe some fishing in your area. I mean, this is more of a fishing ramblings. We're not doing a formal podcast. Instead, I'm saving that for the Little Red Book of Fly Fishing podcast, where we'll go through the next set of tips. That one's going to have tips 101 to 105 next. And that's a good one to listen to, because I go read right out of the Little Red Book of Fly Fishing and just call out some key tips and whatnot. All right, cool. All right, let's see. From a kayak fishing standpoint, that's this time of year is when I do like either wading a river, wet wading a river, or going out on a kayak. And in the case of the kayak that I use, I've got an old Heritage kayak, Featherlight. It's the one that was still made when they manufactured them out of Rhode Island. They've since been bought out by another company, I think Lifetime or Life something. And when they first made them over there, they were much lighter. I think they're like 30, just a little bit over 30 pounds, 32, 34 pounds. I can put it over my shoulder and go fishing fairly quickly. Donald Hall, I love fishing. So do I. If you can't go fishing, you can at least talk fishing, or you can all do any fishing activity stuff. In fact, I got fishing poles all around me right now. Up this wall, that wall over there, and in the corner. I think I have some in the garage too. Yeah, but I do love fishing. You know, what is it? The tug is the drug. I have to agree. All right. Anyhow, some upcoming things in later this year. There's that annual trip that we make to Galveston. Go fish the Galveston fishing piers, as well as possibly Seawall Park or maybe some of the beach areas. And that'll be coming up in August. Just knock on wood with the different storms and whatnot and potential for a lot of hurricane activity. I might get sidetracked with that. But that said, do stay tuned for that Galveston fishing run. Uh, Sorry, I got this cough from all these allergies, so I better take some beer. Light beer, of course, because I got to stay healthy. All right. Let's see. Other things. Let me go back to my notes. Okay. Dexter fillet fishing knife. I talked about it earlier. I think some new folks have joined on. I want to talk about that one because so over the course of the years, I went with several different fishing fillet knives. The Rapala, a Rapala. I forgot the name of it now. Buck, I think, one of the Buck knives, and then Mr. Fisherman, the electric fishing knife and whatnot. Well, I found out that one of the preferred fillet knives that are used by deckhands is and it's made by Dexter, is the fish fillet knife. There's one called the 1370 that has a wooden handle that is easily sharpened. And that's what I've noticed over the years is once I lose the edge on a particular fishing fillet knife, it's hard for me to get it back. And I've noticed I do better when I go with a high carbon steel one. Well, it turns out that they do have that. Let's see. I caught a 13 pound fish. Wow. What kind of fish was that? Definitely interested in that. 13 pounds. That's a bruiser. In that quick tie video, Clouser minnow that I posted earlier, that is a striped bass. I think it went 29 inches. I can't remember. Anyhow, that one I caught that. I caught that one on a 5-weight fly rod, and just after that one, a bigger fish took and spooled me. Took me down to the backing, and I couldn't turn them. I pulled all I could with that 5-weight. Took me to the rocks and wrapped me and broke me off. And then ever since then, I went to a 6-weight rod now with a little bit more backbone. So, yeah, it's been pretty good. 13-pound bass, nice, very nice. Oh yeah. Let's see. What of other things? Maybe what's your favorite fishing combo or fishing rig? From a kayak fishing standpoint, what are the things you look for from a kayak standpoint? I think I wrote an article several years back that talks about getting started in kayak fishing, and it really comes down to when you're choosing a kayak, pick one that you're going to use. So what I found in my case, the one that I use the most is the one that I can load as fast as possible, as quick as possible, with ease. Like right now, and I timed it one year was just under 3 minutes from the time I start loading everything. I do have some stuff preloaded in the kayak, but it took just under 3 minutes. I can get my kayak in the back of my little pickup, throw on the straps, and head to the lake. And that is probably why I prefer that kayak, and I end up using it the most. I think sorry, let me have a beer. All right. I don't know. I'm from USA. All right, cool. I'm here in the US also. In fact, I'm here in Texas, Lone Star State. All right. Let's see. From a kayak standpoint, again, I do reiterate that if you're going to get started in kayak fishing, don't go all crazy and just start buying the latest and greatest gear. Instead, just look at what you're going to target, what you're going to fish for, and then from there, look at your, I guess, your situation. Like back when I didn't have a pickup, it was brutal. I had a boat, and a lot of times I was trying to find all different ways to load a boat on top of my roof rack. And next thing I know, that boat sat for a while. It was a John boat and whatnot. I don't have a kayak. Oh, that's fine. If you don't have a kayak, you can always fish different ways and whatnot. like this last round, Lower Illinois River, wet wading. It's that time of year where you can hit a river, and at least in our area, Oklahoma, Texas area, you really don't need to have any wading pants or waders on. You can go right in the water and fish. In fact, while I was there this last time, I had several folks go by just floating the river in their tubes and whatnot. So that's kind of funny. And what's funny is they go by, you say hi, howdy, everyone's having fun, and then guess what? The trout are still biting. They're still there. They don't care. These are well, these are stock trout, but it's been pretty good. I have a boat. All right, what kind of boat do you have? I have a John boat with a little 2.5 Suzuki outboard. I do have an old 5 horsepower, or no, 6 horsepower Johnson, but I tend to not use that one because it's really heavy. That 2.5 Suzuki, I can lift that up with one hand, and it has an integrated fuel tank, so I don't have to worry about the gas tank like I do with the Johnson. All right. Any other questions? We're rambling now. In fact, let's see what I got on this sound deal. I think I got a little clapping here. No. What's this other thing? Yeah. Woo. Anyhow, it's Friday, so hey, maybe there's some folks out there getting ready to make some plans for this upcoming weekend for some fishing activity. Myself, I got some honeydews to do, and then on top of it, we ended up getting some tickets to the Ranger baseball game over here in Arlington. So tomorrow, I won't be fishing. I'll be watching a baseball game. But soon after that, I'm hope to go fishing the following morning, maybe just a quick trip and whatnot, because, well, the old freezer just died on me, or is getting ready to die. So we went ahead and ordered another freezer to go take the place of the one that we had for, almost 30 years. Yeah, that's a good run for it, eh? And then that said, I just started this podcast a little late. I got sidetracked with a honeydew. I was having to put some foam insulation to the garage door just to up things. A bass boat, nice. Oh man, one of those Ranger bass boats, maybe Skeeter bass boats. way back when I lived down South Texas over there by Choke Canyon Reservoir, Three Rivers, Texas. I remember seeing a lot of the bass boats and bass fishermen over there just tearing things up and running across the water. And yours truly, and back then I had a little 2 horsepower Johnson, little kicker motor that I had on that 12-foot John boat that I have. It's done me well. I love the John boat. I took that both out fishing salt water, the flats, Port Aransas area and whatnot, and had a good old time. I catch blueheads and flatheads off bluegill heads on 3-way. Nice, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know what I noticed with blues as well as flatheads or yellowcat, Appaloosa, also what we call them, is the bluegill is a game, is pretty good, as well as some shad as well. So yeah. And they tend to like live bait more than the channel cats, so that's nice. Let's see. The last round that I did was jug lining for some catfish. Donald Hall, goodbye. All right, Donald, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you joining. And let's see. Enjoy. ENJOI. Nice. I like how that spells. Toast to that. Anyhow, this weekend, it's going to be a little mix match of fishing opportunities, but I do have some sidetrack stuff that I'm going to do, include watch a baseball game, eh? Nothing wrong with watching a baseball game, especially at the new stadium that I haven't gone to the new stadium yet. This one is enclosed versus the old one that, it wasn't enclosed and got really hot. Tended to go more in the evening versus the day game. So, hey, be fun. Let's see. Other things that I'd like to throw out there, maybe, or hey, I'm open to y'all throwing some things out too. Is because this is the fishing ramblings. We're just gonna ramble on. I'm not sure how long y'all have on the online, but I definitely like talking fishing. Let's see. why don't I just grab something here in the room and we can talk fishing. Let's see. There's the 3D printer. All right. That one I got on a whim. Well, it was on sale too, but I went and got it because one, I needed to fix a few things that were breaking or that were broken, and now they're fixed because I got that 3D printer. But on top of it, does make an awesome tool to make some cool looking micro lures. So I've already made a rattle trap, little mini rattle trap with it, some micro blades, some poppers, as well as it's like a scaled down version of a striped bass lure, but now made smaller, so I can fish it on a bait finesse style gear, like ultralight bait casting. So over here in the corner, I've got several bait casting gear there, ultralight bait casting gear, and up here is a bunch of rods, and then back here are some longer rods. So I got a lot of fishing gear. And then with that 3D printer, this is pretty cool. Right here, I made a little microfoam flag. I still don't have my logo here. And then right here, made this baby. And that's just a microphone stand that I can put right over here in front of me. And the setup that I have, I'm using a pod track, Zoom pod track that hooks into the phone, and I'm just feeding right in the phone. And with that, I think I get some good sound too. I mean, and then I got an opportunity to add some additional folks if I want to do like multiple podcasts with folks talking. And then from the Joe Rogan experience, he uses these Sennheiser something headphones. So hey, if it's good for Joe Rogan, hey, I'll jump on it too. Besides, I like his podcast. Anyhow, here it is, a Friday. A Friday. Don't have any rain in the forecast, so knock on wood, we'll be able to get out there. I think this round, I'm gonna go look. Sorry, I got a lot of coughing going on. Some of these allergies been kicking my butt lately, but I was gonna go do some kayak fishing, jug lining. As I know, some parks opened up or boat ramps opened up, but I'm going to switch that out because I've got some stuff that I got to do on Sunday. But once it is done, I think I'm going to probably do a mobile fishing live stream where I'll attach the phone to a chest harness, and I'll probably go with some ultralight bait casting and go hit one of these ponds locally and just see what bites. Sometimes it's pretty good action. Other times, well, it's a little slow. So knock on wood that the action's good. So check it out. Stay tuned Sunday. I'll probably post it. I was doing it on the GoPro where I was feeding the GoPro to the phone, and then from there it was live streaming. But I noticed that the vertical version seems to be a better engagement with folks joining as well as checking out the podcast. Okay, let's see. Any questions? Any fishing ramblings? Anyone have any key things they want to bring up for this upcoming weekend? Maybe this upcoming summer. Are there things happening that you want to be aware of? For yours truly, we got that Galveston fishing run, the run to the coast, and then I'm hoping to do a couple of more trips back up to Oklahoma, go for some more of those trout as well as some of those striped bass. And then there is a particular lake that has, it's a mix between a sauger and a walleye. And there is a size limit for them, and they are stocked, or they are in a lake up in Norman, Oklahoma. So far, I haven't caught it. My fishing buddies caught one. Unfortunately, it wasn't a keeper size, but they say those are really good tasting. So I'm really interested in catching one of those and seeing what a sockeye tastes like. Yeah, and I'll probably try out that Dexter 7-inch fishing fillet knife. Reeled in fishing. I love fishing. So do I. Toast to that. Love fishing. Sockeye salmon. Well, no salmon over here in the Lone Star State. I did have a buddy way back when who did live in Alaska, and every once in a while he'd come back down, and we'd have a little salmon cook-off with some of the stuff that he caught. Yeah, and there's some big ones over there. Let's see. I've never caught any. Oh, okay. Well, that makes two of us. I haven't caught one either. I did have an opportunity when I was living in Monterey over there in California. There was a couple of times where there was some salmon there, but unfortunately I ended up catching more of the, I think it was mackerel as I was catching, as well as a couple of run of this other fish. And then, of course, striped bass. Yep. All right. Let's see some other things. Oh, from a upcoming standpoint, there are several things that I've got in the works that I'd like you guys to keep in your back pocket for some upcoming videos. Let me see if I can grab them real quick here. Plan on doing a slab and jig rig demo. So that's the slab and jig rig that I use when I'm kayak trolling. And then let's see, more jug lining in the kayak. Additionally, looking to make a run up either to Denison Dam or to one of the Oklahoma tail races and see if I can get some striped bass on. Let's see, I caught a landlocked salmon. Nice. That counts, doesn't it? Yeah. Other things. So ever since I got that Dexter basic 7-inch fillet knife, I've been really, really itching to catch some more fish and do some more catch and cooks. One of them that I did notice is, so when I was catching catfish and I'd clean them, I'd skin them with the little skinner pliers deal, and then I'd fillet it off. What I notice now when I fillet and skin them, I think there's a better taste to them. So I think going forward, this next round, I'm just going to fillet and skin them using that Dexter knife and see if I can come up with some of the recipes. Because I've tried a blackened one. I've done the beer better fish fry, and then there's one that my significant other is prepping for. It's a Thai food dish where it's a curry that they put a sauce over this catfish, and I've had it twice now, and it's delicious. I mean, it's a surprise that I didn't think it'd taste that good, but it did. Plus, they can make it spicy. Let's see. I like fly fishing and fly tying like you. Seems like we have a... Oh, yeah. Fly fishing, fly tying. I'm all into it. In fact, if you fly fish, the next thing you should start doing is tying your own flies. Why is that? Well, one, it does get expensive with these fishing flies. Two, you can customize that fly to whatever you are targeting. You can make different sizes, different color variations. You can even make some slight adjustments. Doesn't have to follow the recipe that's given in the books and whatnot. Yeah, it definitely gets expensive. But what I noticed, at least for my case, is when I first started fly tying, it was sort of out of necessity. I went out and picked up one of these Betts brim getters from Bass Pro Shops back when you still filled out a paper order and mailed it in. And it'd be 6 to 10 weeks sometimes for that to arrive, sending the order and the delivery. And I ordered one, and within about 2-3 days, I lost it. It broke off. Either I snagged something or I caught something and it broke me off. But regardless, I lost it. And so it'd be another 6 to 10 weeks before I get another one. So while I ordered another one and waited, I started going to the public library and I looked at one of these fly tying books. And from there, I noticed, hey, tie your own stuff. So I went ahead and tied my own version of a Betts brim getter using some material that I picked up at one of the hobby stores. And that was the start of my fly tying. So what I learned is if you tie your own flies, I think you become more of a better fly fisherman because you become more aggressive when it comes to fishing your flies because you're not as worried of losing that fly to a snag, a bush, trying to get that fishing fly underneath a particular clobbered area, be it brush, trees, maybe some snags and whatnot. And so I tended to be more aggressive when I was like, oh, okay, if I lose this when it's gone, I'll just grab another one. Oh, I need more. I'll just tie some more. So no longer had to wait. I could really make my own. And I could fish it more aggressively. First fly I caught on a fly was a 22-inch. Oh, that's nice. Wow. First fish I caught was a bluegill. All right. Fur and feather go better together. Nice. Okay. Maybe. Oh, sorry. What particular fishing fly do you find is your go-to one? Like, let's say you're getting ready to start hitting a new pond or a new river, and you're not sure what's there. What do you usually start with? I've heard woolly buggers, as well as in my case, it's a version of a woolly bugger. Pheasant tail. Let's see. Nice. Let's see. Think like an insect. Pheasant tail for trout. Okay. Be the caddis. All right. Cool. Yeah. Pheasant tail. That's been pretty good for a couple of areas that I fish. I kind of tend toward the gold rib hare's ear nymph too. Two reasons. One, it doesn't really mimic a particular insect or stage of insect. But I heard way back when that shape looks very close to the Purina trout chow that's fed to some of these stock trout. And so I just keep that in your back pocket. But yeah, the gold rib hare's ear nymph, that one's a one that's worked on all kinds of stuff. I like the woolly bugger. I like the near deer, which is a version of the woolly bugger. And then, let's see, basically any of the foam stuff works really great over here for us when you're working some of the ponds and whatnot. From a bass standpoint, believe it or not, the biggest bass I've caught on the fly, largemouth bass, was just about a 6-7 pounder, and I got it on. God, it was a green-looking Flashaboo thing that I put together on a whim, and I don't know. He hit it, and it was during cold temps. Let's see, Johnny Smith. I find a cornfly replica works well. I've tried that cornfly. Yep. Also bread flies. There's another one that you take a cigarette butt, tear it open, and grab that filter and use that as well to make your bread fly or cigarette bread fly. That's worked really good for, some catfish and whatnot in some of the ponds. Biggest marlin I got on the fly was 105 kilogram stripe. Very nice. I've not caught a marlin. Nope. From a saltwater standpoint, it's mainly been redfish, bluefish, striped bass, black drum, and then mainly more of your closer inshore species. Let's see. Take the silver from a cigarette packet, wrap it around the hook. Okay. Flashy fly and caught a bunch of brookies. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that you can use to make a fishing fly. One of the ones that I was just trying to see what would happen is I call it the rectangle fishing fly. And what I did was I took some closed cell foam, same stuff that I use for grasshopper patterns and other foam spider patterns where I'm using a foam cutter. And instead I just made a rectangle and used that as the body, as the shape. And it still caught fish. So, yeah. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And yeah, saving a little money here and there just keeps you in the business longer to keep fishing more. All right. Well, I don't want to keep your Friday too clobbered with yours truly talking. I just want to touch base. This is our Fishing Ramblings episodes of the Real Cast Fishing Podcast. Next round, we're going to be going out with the Little Red Book of Fly Fishing series, going through tips 101 to 105. And then from there, do stay tuned. I'll do have some rebroadcasts from some of the Amazon Live stuff that I've done, as well as stay tuned for some of the mobile fishing live streams where I just throw the phone on the chest harness and just go fishing and see what happens. You know, the best fly ever made was the one that hooked me into shelling out hard-earned cash. I'm guilty. Yeah, I've been caught many times. Good one. All right. So with that, appreciate y'all joining, and I hope you have a good Friday. And let's see, have you seen Man, Bear, Pig in your adventures? No, I don't think I have. But I'll keep an eye out. Let's see. Is that your channel? It says Man, Bear, Pig. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and close things out. Appreciate y'all joining. Do stay tuned. I'll have that Little Red Book of Fly Fishing podcast coming out. And then from there, do stay tuned. I'll be getting a mobile fishing live stream out there as well. How much fishing tackle never ended up getting wet and in the landfill? I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot. Yeah. I tend to cycle through the stuff that I have, as well as there's several that I'll just put away. Like, let's see. I got several Abu Garcia reels that were made in Sweden that you can't get anymore. Like 40 plus years old. Yeah. I don't use them anymore. Anyway, all right. All for now. Next time, we'll catch y'all later. And good luck and good fishing.